Hi, I'm Dionish.
And I'm Matthew Bunker.
And we don't know shit.
So we're having an election April 4th. However, when we post this video, it will be after the fact. And we just had an election on March 7th. I feel like there's a lot of elections.
You're expecting me to take time off work to go vote again?
Well, you're not going to vote. I feel like it takes a lot of pressure off you.
It does. That's why I don't know shit. Because I don't need to.
I don't know shit, and I do have to vote.
So, we voted on 4 main things on March 7th.
Supposedly. I voted. I actually participated.
I know. So those 4 main things would be, it must be infrastructure.
I don't feel like I voted on anything that was infrastructure.
I'm just guessing.
This is how I work in most group projects. I just sit back and let people do stuff and then I tell them no. More of a supervisor position. So like I voted on the mayor. There was like a city council or something. We voted on Measure S. So like city council, mayor, measure. There was like a school, something school related.
Are those right?
Yeah. So mayor, city council, props and measures, school boards and shit.
I didn't even have the answers. Well, to be fair, I did have the answers because I voted. They were on the ballot.
What was the turnout?
I gotta be honest, there were not very many people there. I didn't actually know that it was election day until about noon. But it was literally 0 line. So the turnout, I'm gonna say, was poor.
So out of 100?
12%.
I think it was even lower than that. I think it was like 18%.
I was close.
You were closer. I had an 8 in there.
You always go 8.
That must be my favorite number.
18%.
That's crap.
What's the median age of a voter in LA?
I would probably go to people who own houses, people who are retired.
Art?
I got a letter from that. Oh, I was so pissed. I'm going to say around 50.
I would say like 40 to 45.
60.
60?
See?
Sad.
What was the turnout for those of age 18 to 34? So if 60
is the median age, and only 18% of people even voted, math is not promising. I'm going to say 4%.
I'm going to say 1. No, I'm going to say 2. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt.
Oh, so nice of her.
Yeah.
8%.
Oh. Okay, I'm encouraged.
Your avid pessimism is really just warm and fuzzy. 18 to 34, that's a large demographic, and that's such a low number. That's why all of our politicians are like 106.
Yeah. Okay, why do we have ballot initiatives?
To decide shit. Well, ballot initiatives are things like props and measures. Like somebody decides they want to put something into the law, and then
or take it out to get development growth.
Well, it depends on what you're voting on.
Yeah, totally.
So you gave us some pros about why having a ballot initiative is good. What are some potential cons?
I mean, you could look at Brexit. After Brexit happened, there were so many people that said if they could go back and vote again, that they would have voted differently.
Well, 1, because they didn't know what they were voting for. 2, they didn't think that their vote was counted.
Prop 8. That's an example where putting something directly to a ballot isn't necessarily a good thing, because if you're not fully represented in society, it's hard for you to get any sort of recognition from the government.
So if we're voting for the people in government who vote on the laws, wouldn't the outcome be the same?
I would say no. We do vote people in office in hopes that they will vote in our best interest. But what I have seen is that with lobbyists and corporate money, they vote against what people are saying. So a ballot initiative is the general term. But in California, we call them props and measures. What's the difference? My knowledge of props and measures is a prop is something that I use, and measure is
measuring the amount of alcohol I have. I still don't know what that stands for.
Prop is for the state, measures for the city.
Oh, it's that simple. That's interesting.
Sometimes things aren't complicated.
Yeah. How does a prop get on the ballot?
First, you have to live in a state of discontent. First, someone has to write it. Can it be anybody? Like, could I write one?
If anybody could do it, there will be just a ton of people on the council going, I want this on the ballot, I want this on the ballot.
But also think about the fact that only 18% of people voted. So the number of people writing a ballot initiative and taking the time is probably real low.
But maybe because people don't know that they can write a ballot.
Well, now they will. All 12 of our viewers.
I think they can write a ballot, but there are steps you have to go through, to get it approved.
You write the measure, you get it approved by the city, and then you have to get a certain number of signatures to actually get it put on the ballot. How many signatures do you have to get? 6,000, 60,000, 600,000, or 6 million? And that's really just all the numbers.
Yeah, 6 million is way too much.
And 6,000 is way too little.
See, I think it's
You think it's 6,000?
Yeah.
I think it's 60,000. I finally got a question right.
See, if it was an 8, I would have gone.
How do we get that number of 60,000?
They take into account of 100% of voters. You have to get a third of those voters to be on the signatures.
So Dion, you're right. They take the total amount of voters in the last mayoral election, and you have to get 15% of those signatures. And the same goes for the state.
So they decide the number based on how many people are actually participating. So in order for a measure to pass, some need more than 50%, some need more than 66.6%. But why do some need more than others?
Does it depend on what the measure is?
Maybe it needs more if it's like generally across the whole city.
I think we're kind of there, but we're not.
I feel like that's the story of our life. We're kind of there, but we're not.
Most ballot measures only need 50%. But if your ballot measure has a tax increase.
That's fair. Okay, fine. I'll get on board.
Who names the props?
I feel like it's whoever approves it, which I don't feel like we ever learned that.
The Attorney General.
Okay.
So maybe the Attorney General gets to name it?
So the answer to this is I don't know.
We're putting this out to you.
Yeah, let's put it out to you.
If you know who names the props, who decides S, M, N, please let us know. So why didn't we do this shit in November when we had the general election?
I
mean,
think it's probably because it's overwhelming.
I think that it might have to do with the people that proposed that because they want it to be separate so that they get more attention.
Yeah, or to not get a lot of attention.
Ooh, this is like House of Cards.
So starting in 2020, the mayoral election will be along with the general election in November.
Smart.
So we're going to start actually voting on our mayor at the same time we vote on our president.
Mm-hmm. Which city has the highest turnout? Los Angeles, Portland, DC, or Chicago? I think it's Portland.
Why do you think it's Portland?
I don't know.
Because they're nice. So you were right.
I'm just guessing, and I've proven once again that my gut is always right.
LA's 18, DC's 26, Chicago's 30, and Portland's 60. Wait, Portland's 60%?
Oh, I do know this. They do postal votes.
But we do postal votes.
I think that Portland just do postal votes over the course of, like, say, a month.
But if everybody votes by mail, then nobody has to worry about going in anywhere. And you have a longer window to actually vote. But if you don't have that, you may not feel inclined to actually participate.
You should always be inclined.
Yes, but you and I feel that. We're sitting here making a video.
Last question. Why can't we be like Portland?
This question sounds like my parents. Why can't you be more like your sister? We are not like that because there are politicians that don't want that because it makes it more difficult for low-income people to vote and they tend to vote against the establishment. So we need to write a ballot initiative, get it approved by the Attorney General, get 60,000 signatures, and make this happen. Who's going to do that?
Well, I can't because I'm not a citizen.
And I can't because I'm lazy.
What we learned today was the difference between props and measures.
How a ballot initiative gets on the ballot. We learned that Portland is much better at voting. We never learned why we didn't do this shit in November, but we did learn that we're going to start doing this shit in November. It seems like things could be a lot simpler if we just made them simpler.
Yeah, but the top dogs want to keep us down.
Womp womp.
I'm Dion Niche.
I'm Matthew Bunker.
This is Know Your Shit.